Also have the latest out of Corpus Christi. Police are now working to identify human remains found near the apartment of a missing New Braunfels college student, Caleb Harris. News 4's Tawny Davis now live with more on what police know and a timeline of these events. Tawny, good morning.
Good morning. Harris's dad tells us that there's no confirmation those remains are those of his son. He says it could be a while before investigators have an answer. Now, Harris hasn't been seen since March 4th near his Corpus Christi apartment, near where he went to school at Texas A&M. He was hanging out with some friends, and when everyone else was going to bed, he stayed up going to order food. He eventually left his apartment without his shoes, wallet, or his keys. And Caleb did have his phone with him, but it was later turned off. For months, family and friends have had search parties and posted flyers and billboards across the state. Now, there's also a $50,000 reward for any information that could lead to his return. Now, this morning, we are waiting for more from the medical examiner's office, and once we get those answers, we will update you on air and online. Reporting live from the Broadcast Center, I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
Where is Caleb Harris? The 21-year-old Corpus Christi student from New Braunfels has now been missing for more than 2 months. Rarely do people vanish without a trace, but in this case, police say that's exactly what happened. For the first time tonight, News 4 San Antonio's Mandy Noel talked with the Corpus Christi Police Department, and she had lots of questions for them.
Going to school, going through all the motions is definitely very difficult to just keep going. I mean, he is my best friend, so it has been hard.
Hard, yet Caleb Harris's family is a force of faith. Their lives paused on March 4th.
Well, it's like everybody is moving forward, and so when we feel like we're kind of still and we haven't been able to move forward as much.
When Caleb disappeared around 3 a.m. outside his apartment in Corpus Christi.
It's the most unusual missing person case that I've been involved in my career, and I think most of the detectives that are working on it would agree.
Corpus Christi Assistant Police Chief Todd Green says a disappearance often traces back to one of a few underlying factors: drug use, a history of disappearing or running away, or mental illness already existing or triggered by a recent trauma.
You know, he just disappeared kind of into the fog. None of the typical underlying factors that we usually find are applied to this case.
His keys and wallet found by his roommates the next morning on the kitchen counter.
It's just taking a long time, and we've all felt like we would have him back by now.
Back in New Braunfels, packed up and home for the summer with his parents, Randy and Becky, and his sister, Andy, who turned 17 in the weeks after her brother's disappearance.
He definitely would have been down for my birthday, and going into senior year will be hard without him.
Another milestone missed.
He takes me everywhere. I know all of his friends. I have like a lot of brothers.
Caleb is supposed to start a summer job in Alaska. For now, everything is on hold.
We understand the public's frustration that we're not putting out more information.
Green says he knows people think CCPD haven't been active. That's not the case. They've conducted widespread searches and collected dozens of surveillance videos. They've sent out bloodhounds to try to catch his scent, dispatched divers to muck through waterways, and drones to search overhead.
After that first week, it kind of evolved into digital data evidence.
The only thing he left his apartment with March 4th was his cell phone. It hasn't been found. Police do have his computer and iPad.
When we're dealing with these providers, cell phone providers, social media, websites, and whatever, we have to issue search warrants or subpoenas. And once we do that, it takes time, days to weeks, for that information to come back.
CCPD is working with the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, Texas Rangers, meeting virtually several times a week.
We just wrote 15 additional search warrants here within the last 2 days.
Online, the Harrises and Green see rampant speculation.
We are real people. This is actually happening to us. It's not it's not an episode of Tracker. People that are speculating and are spreading rumors, they're making it harder for the police to get a direction as what to do.
Are we still investigating this as a missing persons case?
Well, it is a missing persons case, but we certainly believe there's the possibility of some foul play involved.
How great of a possibility?
The more evidence that we gathered tends to show that he left, probably voluntarily, but didn't return.
Now, there are rumors of witnesses spotting Harris, and we also asked the assistant chief about that, but he says the department believes no credible witness has reported having seen Caleb on that early March 4th morning. If you have any information on Caleb's disappearance or for the tip line and more information, head to news4sa.com.